Hello everyone and welcome to our webinar today on this beautiful sunny Tuesday morning. Hopefully that it's the start of summer and spring. Thank you for coming along today. My name is Mel Curtis and I'm the owner of Melanie Curtis Accountants. As a business, we are more than just accountants. We work with businesses to help them grow, become more successful and ultimately be more profitable. So I'm going to now start the webinar. Okay, so this is my thought of the day. Either run the day or the day runs you. I think this quote sets up today's session quite nicely. So this is what we're going to go through today. Firstly, understanding why we will always be busy. Then looking at some mindsets to reclaim your time. Identifying where time is being wasted. We will look at 5 practical ways to permanently free up your time. Next, we can then look at what you can do with the time you then have as a result of freeing up your time. We'll go through some next steps and then we'll go to questions. Please take notes, ask questions, and don't forget to download the workbook. Okay, so first of all, we're going to look at why we will always be busy. So work tends to expand to the time available. We often match our output to the time we have available to get the task done. And actually your team will be doing this too. Isn't it funny when time is limited, we can work quicker and get the job done quicker? Also distractions. We might have a job that needs finishing, but there's no clear deadline. So it sits waiting and we find ourselves procrastinating, picking it up, putting it down, as there are other seemingly urgent interruptions, or we just get distracted rather than getting the job done. Also, our perception of busyness changes. It's all relative. For example, when we were at school, having 1 hour's homework a day felt like we were busy, trying to fit that in around, all the things we needed to do as a child. And then when we move on to university, we have more studying to do, but we can cope with it, even though there is more work to do. And then when we join the workforce, our workload increases again, and yet we're still busy. So fourth, we have a perception that being busy means we're successful. If you think about it, how often when we ask someone how they are, do they ever say, I'm bored or I'm struggling to fill my day? No, they don't. They always say, oh, I'm really busy. And that's what we think, we need to say to be successful. Being busy is often an excuse. So when we have more time, we don't necessarily do the things that we want to achieve. For example, working on your business is often put on the back burner. Also, for example, you might have books that you want to read, but you put them aside and think, well, when I've got more time, I'll read those books. But do you ever actually read them? Do you ever have that free time? Do you ever have that spare capacity to read those books? Probably not. So we choose the way we work. It's our choice. So now it's time to make better choices to reclaim our time. So first of all, then we're going to look at some mindsets to get us started. First of all, I'd like to start off by looking at the 7 habits of highly effective people developed by Stephen Covey. The first habit is to be proactive. So make the choice to improve your life through the things you can influence. The second is to begin with the end in mind. Your values are a framework for decision making. Use them to set your goals, then focus on achieving them. The third is to put first things first. Set your priorities and focus on them to avoid wasting time on unimportant and non-urgent tasks. The first 3 habits relate to managing and reclaiming your time. So we'll only be talking about these today, but just so that you know, the other habits are thinking win-win, seeking first to understand, then be understood, synergizing and sharpening the saw. You may have seen the Orbed mindset before, as we talk about it a lot here at Milne Curtis Accountants. So to be a victor, you need to act above the line and so take ownership, have accountability and responsibility. If you blame others, make excuses, and you are in denial, then you are acting below the line, and so you have a victim mindset. To be truly successful, you need to challenge your mindset and look to be a victor as opposed to being a victim. To be honest, we are all human, so often we will slip below the line, but if in your mind you can try and be consciously above the line, that's where you will be more successful. I want to link Orbed to the 7 habits we just looked at. More specifically, the first habit, so be proactive, and the second habit, start with the end in mind. Being proactive is about staying above the line and focusing on what you can control, not being a victim and saying there's nothing you can do about the lack of time you have. As confronting as it may sound, you're choosing to be as busy as you are. More specifically, you're choosing to do the things you're doing. Stephen Covey's second habit of highly effective people also ties into Orbed. The habit is called starting with the end in mind. It's thinking about how you'd like people to describe you at your funeral. So sorry if this sounds a bit morbid, but it does make you think. The good news though is that you can start being that person today. So if you stay above the line on this and stay firm on your time management, you can then be that person. The second mindset I want to share is Atomic Habits, which speaks directly to starting with the end in mind. Building identity-based habits will enable you to better prioritize your time and achieve better results. By focusing on who you need to be, so your identity, and choosing habits consistent with that identity, your desired outcomes will flow more easily. From a reclaiming your time perspective, let's focus on your identity. Say you want to be more proactive and focus on what you can control, but you find yourself distracted at times. Imagine you've set time aside to complete some of your business plan actions. Then an email or text message pops up on your screen or your phone. So this is called the queue. You can see there's a message and you want to read it. You want that dopamine hit, and that is called a craving. So you open the email and this is the response. You think to yourself, it's just a short email or a text from a client. I know the answer. So you quickly tap out a response and 10 minutes later, you hit send. That's the reward, because you're now feeling satisfied that you've responded to the client's email. And before you know it, you're on to the next email or the next text, and so on and so on and so on. So what we need to do is to remove the queue or replace it with a different one. What if you switched off your email and your phone notifications whilst you're working on your business? The queue could then be the handwritten to-do list of your business plan actions that you created the day before. Then the craving becomes wanting to tick off each of the actions on your list. The response is to spend an hour on your business plan actions, and the reward is that you can get your coffee afterwards, and then you can scroll through your social media or your emails. So we need a mindset that reflects our identity. Who do we need to be in order to control our time? Only you can adjust your behavior. And if you do want to reclaim your time, you've got to do something different. So let's look at how we can use some time management skills to overcome this and to sort this out. I love this. This is the Achiever Matrix, and it's also created by Stephen Covey. So in a nutshell, this matrix reflects what we all live, that we all live in a time-pressured world with multiple overlapping commitments. Urgency is no longer reserved for special occasions, And so separating your tasks into these four quadrants can help us better understand what we've got going on in our lives and, what is urgent and what is not. We need to spend less time working in the urgent quadrants and more time working in quadrant 2. So quadrant 2 is the quadrant of quality. This is the quadrant of planning, prevention, and innovation. This is where we'll improve our processes, and this is where we will be most productive. So this is where we will be working on our business in quadrant 2. We need to assess what things are not important and are distracting us from working in the quadrant of quality. What disruptions can we minimize or eliminate? What strategies can we use to reclaim some of that time spent on non-important things? And generally speaking, if you're working on something that's non-urgent in quadrant 2, if you don't get around to doing it, that is then going to become urgent. So you're going to be working in quadrant 1, and that is where life gets stressful. If you would like one of these achiever matrices, please reach out and we can send you one of those. We can actually send you a blank one as well, so you can actually plot your week, have a look at how your week's looking, see what's in each quadrant, so that you can focus on the most important things. So how can you free up your time? So we're going to look at the productivity pyramid and see how you can balance up your time with the time invested in improving your business. So there are 5 stages and strategies to maximize your return here. The first stage is to improve. This is where you work on mastering your expertise or working better at what you are doing. The next level is increase. This is where you get more people to do what you're doing by delegating and outsourcing. Next level is investment. So this is where you need to invest in technology to scale your business. The next level is invent. This is where you then invent your own systems or technology to create valuable IP or perhaps an app for your own business. And then lastly, innovation, which in its simple form is working on better things. So could you free your time up by employing others or contracting out some of the work you're doing on the second level? What systems and software solutions could you utilize to free up your time and increase your efficiency? Improved systemization not only frees up your time, it also allows you to grow your business without increasing risk or workload for you. Are there other things you could be working on to derive a better return on your time investment? As business owners, we tend to get stuck in the humdrum doing, some basic activities that we really shouldn't be doing. With the COVID-19 environment, this has forced a lot of us to really think about how we're running our business. And we've adapted, we've innovated, we've re-engineered and pivoted our businesses. So now is a great time to really think about these areas. We're happy to discuss with you how to use the productivity pyramid to your advantage. Sometimes a fresh set eyes looking over your unique situation can open up opportunities. So yeah, we're very, very happy to talk to you about that if you'd like us to. The second strategy to reclaim your time is to stop working with the wrong people. I know we want to work with everybody and we don't want to say no to customers, but stop working with people who don't pay your invoices on time. Stop working with people who treat your team badly. Stop working with people who don't live up to your core values, and also people that are unreliable, because quite often they're actually costing you money. Because then it will actually free up your time to perhaps you could take a step back, improve your business, look at your IT, look at your systems. So you could spend time actually taking a step back so that you can take a bigger step forward. The next strategy for reclaiming some time is to run better meetings. How much time are we wasting on meetings? I appreciate, obviously, that depending on your business, some of you will run more meetings than others, and there is value in having regular meetings if they're done well. So there could be 10-minute toolbox meetings over a coffee, or perhaps longer meetings with prospective customers, but they need to be efficient and valuable for everyone who's attending. Poorly planned meetings are consistently a top 10 time waster. So here are my rules for running effective meetings. First of all, set a time limit and stick to it. So if it's a toolbox meeting, perhaps 10 minutes maximum. If it's a monthly team meeting, set a timing for 45 minutes, and then check the time as you go through the meeting and remind everyone of the time agreed, just in case it looks like the meeting will drag on. Secondly, reporting prior to the meeting. Perhaps you can use a weekly team member report. So by doing this, your team can then fill out the report in advance of what they're working on, what challenges they have, any support they need, and what they have planned for the week. This will then really increase the efficiency of the meeting, and it means you're informed ahead of the meeting. If you would like an example template for this, of a team member weekly report template, please reach out and we can let you have that. Thirdly, set a regular rhythm for team meetings. So for example, a daily huddle, stick to 10 minutes. In the old days when we could actually meet face to face, it's actually good practice to not sit down. So have a huddle standing up, that way people don't get too comfy. It's a quicker moving thing, and you're not going to spend 45 minutes in a meeting every day wasting everybody's time. Fourth, have a clear purpose and agenda. So if something else comes up that's not on the agenda, perhaps we schedule it for another time, especially if it doesn't actually involve everybody in the meeting, because you're then going to drag everybody down with talking about one particular topic and waste loads of people's time. Agree any actions, don't have lengthy discussions, just record your agenda so that everybody knows what they're supposed to be doing. And accountability. So this is where you check in on the actions from previous meeting to make sure that everything's been done. It's very easy to set actions. If you don't actually go back to them, then no one's going to do them going forwards. So that's really important. Next, the fourth strategy is to have a 10 hats organisational review. So as a business owner, did you realise there are 10 departments in your business? Probably didn't. The 10 hats is an essential mindset for business structure, leadership and management. It clearly defines which roles in your business are operational versus strategic. So this actually helps you draw accountability lines to allow for better planning, reporting, delegation and time management, as well as helping assess resourcing gaps. It's really important your business is sustainable, scalable, and actually, in the end, saleable. So I wonder how many hats you're wearing as business owners. As I say, every single business has 10 hats, even a small business. Some hats you might be wearing that you probably shouldn't be wearing, maybe some hats you're not very good at. So perhaps it's time to think about offloading those hats, outsourcing, get someone else to do those hats. And for instance, if you might be trying to do your own email marketing. If it's not your thing, get somebody else to do that. You can then work on your sales and actually earn more money. Sometimes it's about being brave enough to stop doing the things we shouldn't be doing. So the benefits of a 10 hats organisational review: you'll get clear around the roles within your business. You'll have improved delegation and personal development actually of your team members as well. You'll have clear accountability lines. You can identify resourcing gaps and also opportunities for outsourcing. And it provides you and enables you to scale up and grow your business without it all blowing apart. So some examples of contracting out or outsourcing to help you reclaim your time. First of all, marketing is an obvious option. Not every business can justify employing a full-time marketing person to create and implement their marketing plan and maintain their website. So perhaps you should think about outsourcing your marketing. Finance is another common hat to outsource. Do you really need to be doing your bookkeeping and your VAT returns yourself and running your own payroll? You could free up your time here to be running your business and, increasing your profits. HR is an obvious one. It can also be a very expensive one if you get it wrong. So I would really urge people to outsource your HR as well. And then we've got areas like IT and admin. If your computers are always breaking down and it's causing you inefficiencies within your business, maybe it's time to get somebody in to look after them. If you'd like to talk to us about this, we do have contacts where we can put you in touch with other people that could help you perhaps take some of those hats off. Delegation. There are many misconceptions around delegation. Delegation is a skill that needs to be mastered. Delegating is not just throwing a task at someone and hoping it will be okay. You need to communicate. You need to assess the task, delegate it to the right person. You need to give them clear support, show them how to do it. You need to communicate the parameters verbally, and also either in an email or perhaps a written procedure. And ideally get them to repeat it back to you so that you know that they've got it. And obviously you need to check in with them, go back to them after they've done it, make sure they've understood and achieved and completed the task properly. And also to say, don't be surprised or offended when somebody else does do that task. They might actually come up with a better way of working or an improvement. That's actually a happy byproduct of delegation. So it might actually help your business. So delegation, as opposed to abdicating, that is just when you just throw the task at the person and hope it'll be okay. Really, then you're going to be set to fail because they're not going to know what they're doing. You're going to get it wrong. You're going to get frustrated and angry, and then you're probably going to take it back. So it is really important to delegate effectively. So what are you going to do with all this time you're going to generate? Well, you can teach the team. You can show the team the skills that you learn so that you can scale your business so it's not all down to you. You can sharpen your saw so you can actually learn more knowledge yourself and get better at what you do. You can do more planning, be more commercial, so working on your business to drive it forward. You can create better habits, and then you can take time for you. So time off, time for fitness, time for your friends and family, work-life balance, all of that good stuff. And here we go, back to you. At times we do feel like the water's rising around us. Stress, pressure, and lack of time can damage our ability to maintain perspective on what really does matter, both in the workplace and in our personal lives. It's easy to get to the end of the week having worked late most evenings and not seeing your family. Time goes quickly. So it is really important to make time for your wellness as well. Otherwise, you'll have to make time for your illness. So perhaps, a nice place to aim to get to would be to plan your personal time first and then fit your work in around that. That would be the ultimate. And that would be a nice place to be. So it's something to strive for. So what are you going to do next? I would suggest you need to define the distractions that you need to minimize, clarify the habits you wish to create, identify your 3 most important actions, and focus on what you can do. Can't do everything, but even if you took 3 things away from this, that will really add value and improve your time management skills. and also get support. We're here to help you. We're here to help you as well. So we offer 10 hats organisational review for companies. So that's something we can absolutely do. So that is, following on from the slides I showed you earlier, we can look at your organisation and plot out all the roles within your business, who's doing what, lines of responsibility, and have pulled together an overall plan for you so that you can really scale and grow your business. I am a business coach as well, so my most successful clients actually do have a coach. So we work together monthly, working on areas of the business. My clients then get set action so that they go away and have perhaps 1 or 2 things to work on each month. And by taking action every month, it forces you to work on your business, and then you get greater traction and can really change and improve your business. As I mentioned earlier, we can give you the Achiever Matrix worksheet if you'd like one. And also I offer what's called Business Energizer sessions. So that is 1 hour, currently a Zoom call with me. We talk about you and your business, and we create an action plan. So you come up with an action plan of what you need to do. What's most important to really move the needle for your business. Okay. Does anybody have any questions?
Right, so we actually have one already. So they've asked, talking of distractions, for some people, for example, those with ADHD tendencies, distractions come thick and fast from within. Do you have any strategies to cope with this?
So I would say the weekly team member report would be really useful. If you give that to your team, perhaps they have to fill it in every Friday, so they can write down what they've done this week, what they're doing next week, any help they need. It helps clarify for them in their mind what their main role is, what they've got on their plate, and you can identify any support that you need to give them as well. And also possibly the Achiever Matrix. Again, I think at the start of the week, just to write down on that list, on that matrix, what you need to do, helps prioritize people, makes them prioritize what's important and what's not.
Great, cool. And then we've got another one, and they've asked, we are a team of 6. Is it worth doing the organisational review, or are we too small?
If you've got a team of 6, that sounds about perfect, if I'm honest. Chances are, as a business owner, you're still wearing a lot of the hats. So it's good to get some clarity around the roles within the business. Identify, certainly as a business owner, which areas you shouldn't really be getting involved in. It might be that you can empower your team to take on more responsibility as well. So they'll feel better. They'll feel more motivated as well, actually, if they feel more involved in the business. So yeah, it's a really good thing.
Cool. And then we've got another one, it's probably quite similar to what you've already just answered, but it's my team always busy. Are there any other tools that I can use to help them?
I would say back to the Achiever Matrix. I would say get them to fill it in on a Monday, and then perhaps go through it with them, so that then at least you're having a conversation with them as to what's important, because what they think is important and you think are important might be different things, and then it will just help them prioritize their work. But likewise, it might also uncover the fact that they are too busy, and you perhaps need more resources, certainly over time.
Cool. Okay, great. Thank you. So that's all the questions we've got at the moment. But if anyone does have any more after the session, Mel's contact details will appear at the end. So just feel free to drop her an email and she can answer them for you.
Yeah, I'm really happy to help. So any questions, anybody, just reach out. I'm really happy to share the resources. As I say, the weekly team member report is really useful too, because that gives you more insight into what your team members are doing, what their pain points are, and might just flag up any problems in advance of them going, into the melting pot. Okay. Okay, well, thank you everybody for coming today. Thank you for your time, and I hope to see you soon. Thank you.